Hello and welcome to my channel. In my never-ending, seemingly at this point in time, saga to get things reorganized for the channel, to be able to do the channel, this is one of my biggest dilemmas, I guess you want to call it. And it's not so much the size of the collection itself, but the display that I built better part of over 2 years ago. As you can see, when I first built this, I was in a non-humid environment, and last summer, being in this current environment, I have a lot of the shelves kind of empty. I've put some cars back on it just for display or just for show purposes, just to see or to show exactly what I have going on here. Let's see if we can, there we go. But due to the humidity last summer, it started to really give way. I mean, for just being cardboard, it's actually held up really, really well. And I think that if I hadn't been in such a humid environment last summer, it really kind of buckled. And you stop and you think of the weight. You know, you pile all these cars. And I think this thing held 250 plus cars. And it was all 250 plus cars that it held. So I mean, you pile 250 cars into a box. The box is pretty dang heavy. Anyway, you can see where I have started trying to support the shelves themselves, because they were just starting to give way, and were really starting to tip and slope downward. So it really became in this, let me see here, there's a couple of these shelves here that are really, really extreme as far as their buckling. And not so much the buckling, but just the sagging. And sagging is a much better term to actually use. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm building a new one. And that is to be able to get the cars up off the hobby bench and over there, the working area, to give me some working space. And you can really see here, like the cars, they just don't sit on it anymore. They just come sliding and rolling off. So I'm building a new one. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. And it is the stupidest, cheapest, or the stupid cheapest? Yeah, stupid cheapest Hot Wheels or 1/64 scale display you can possibly make. Costs no more than the price of the wood glue and your time. I'm going to show you how to make something super, super strong. This I'm holding on to with one hand, and as you can see, it is loaded with cars. And it does not buckle or snap or break, and it is merely cardboard, and the backing is only one sheet thick. Very, very strong. So there's a couple things that inspired me to actually really do things and rebuild and to make a display that was much more structurally strong, and this was kind of the inspiration. This thing here is really, really, really strong. It is actually overhanging and has been for over a year now. And there is no sag. This thing will hold 48 cars within, place another couple cars up on top, and you've got over a 50 car holder for cardboard box and the price of some wood glue. And some work. And I used to have a wood shop, and I had considered doing this in wood, but the weight of the wood alone was extremely prohibitive, considering the size of the display that I wanted to make to sit right on the hobby bench work area. And this here was kind of my driving force to do the work. This time around, I honestly think when I built the other one, I don't know what I was thinking as far as the structure was concerned and the strength. But considering it was one sheet backing of cardboard, you know, for 2.5, nearly 3 years, it held up pretty good, considering it didn't cost me anything to build. So this is my kind of inspiration to do the big one. So here's a few of the things that you need, and a couple things that you don't. So we don't need this. We don't need these. We don't need that. What I'm using here is Gorilla's wood glue. You have to remember that cardboard is made from as wood byproduct, and it's made from that, so that's why I use the wood glue. You're gonna need some kind of a straight edge, something to measure with. Something a little darker so that you can make dots for indications of where you want your structure to be. Gonna need a pencil, and I have 2 cutting instruments here, and we've got one of these. This is almost indispensable. You really need one of these. I have a pack of blades to go with it. You want a good straight sharp edge. Cardboard, when it's cut, do not, and I repeat, do not cut with scissors. The scissors has a tendency to pinch the cardboard and it thins it out. You want as good an open space, as much surface to be gluing. That's going to add to the structural strength of the unit. All right. So here's our base that we're starting with, and you can see the circles from the rings, and I'll explain those in a minute. So basically what I've got here, and you can see where I've tripled up 3 sheets of cardboard. And this is extremely now very nice and rigid. Yeah. Still super, super, super lightweight, which is what we need. Right. If I was to guess, as far as the weight difference in the same size sheet of plywood and same thickness, because I've got, I would say, a good 3/8 to probably close to a 1/2 inch or 1.25 centimeters. These, unfortunately, I can't really do a whole lot about, but once this the main structure is all on here, you're not going to be able to see anything anyway. Because now what I have to do is I have to build the framework for the outer edge, which is typically a little bit larger than, or it's going to protrude out a little bit more than the actual shelves for the Hot Wheels on the 164s. I got the cardboard from work, so I have that advantage. Very happy and excited about this. Okay, so here we are. We're about to begin, and we're going to start cutting up our framework and the structural divides between the cars. One really important point that I want to make, that I've made mistakes in the past, is the cut. Now I'm hoping, yes, you can. You can see the lines that run this way, and you can see, let's see here, you can see the open corrugated aspect of it. What you want to do is you want to be cutting this way. Do not cut the long way running with this is where it loses its strength. I've learned over the years, this is where it loses its strength. So if you're cutting strips this way, it's just not going to be nowhere near as strong. For whatever the reason, the corrugated aspect, or the strength aspect, runs more this way. So make sure you have your open corrugated, because this is what's going to face out once I put in my, and actually I can show you on this sheet here. Once I put in my supports, right? Once I line out the supports and I put them in, and they're going to run top to bottom, and then you're going to put in your the individual shelving for each of the individual cars. I may leave a 2-car, and if I do that, that's going to be maybe in the center. I may put that in the center of this. This is a good size. Let's just take a quick look here if I can. What do we got? This sheet is 42 3/4 by roughly 34 3/4. So one of the things I'm doing here is I've just figured out what my dimensions are and how big the individual slots are going to be. With the sheet that I'm working with, I've got 34 3/4 by 42 3/4. So what I'm really trying to figure out here is my individual car slots. So I need to know where my brackets are going to go. Figuring out the frame is not that difficult between cars. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to put a 2-car plus strip down the center. I'm going to require to have 2 structural beams, if you want to call them, on either side of that, and then we're going to go 3.5 inches per. So it'll be 3.5 on center this way. Then I'm going to have to lay in the individual car slot. So, you know, this is going to be a lot of work, but in the end, it's really going to be what I need. So I think that's going to be it for this video for now, just because of the time constraint and piecing this all together. So in the next video, we'll be looking at putting this all together and doing the cutting of the individual, and also laying in the support columns and everything else. Okay, thanks for coming, and I hope you watch the next one. Bye for now.